a name that is entering the conversation a little later than I expected.
Mm,
The John Collins name.
yeah.
He's one that I feel like Kings fans have really liked. Maybe they're off that train a little bit. I got to admit, I was never the biggest John Collins guy. I didn't understand the idea of him being here.
Mhm.
Um, everybody's got a price. Like, tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if I'm on board for it.
Mhm.
But I expected that name to pop up a little bit sooner in conversation.
Who's John Collins in the league? Like, what kind of role do you think he plays? Is he a star?
Bro,
Is he a role player?
he's not a
He's a
Like,
role
like I
star.
know
player.
he's not a star, but
He's
like,
not a
like what
star.
what is he? Is he
He's a good role player. Like he doesn't play the same type of basketball,
like
but
is he
I
even a
could
Kyle Kuzma type?
no,
No.
he doesn't play the same type of basketball, but I could see him in the right situation being what PJ Washington has been to Dallas. Like he's
Mm.
that level of talent. Um, and if he gets in the right role with the right team, he can excel.
So, and this is where I get stuck with John Collins right now is I don't exactly know what they were doing in Utah,
Mhm.
and I hated that Atlanta team. Like the team he was on before didn't make any sense to me,
Mhm.
and I think that impacted him, especially when not just Trey, but when you've got Bogey there and Dejounte, and all of a sudden it's like, well, what the hell? What is John Collins' role in all of this? And eventually they move off from him, so that could play a factor in what we've seen. Again, I think you said this perfectly with comparing him to PJ Washington. In the right situation, this is what he could be.
Mhm.
People, I think, thought PJ would probably be a step down from what he was in Charlotte because he's on a better team
Mhm.
and his role is going to be different. And maybe scoring wise, he did take a step down, but he's been a significantly more impactful player because his skill set has been needed,
Mhm.
both through the regular season and through these playoffs up to this point where we've got Game 5 tonight. Um, and that's certainly what you would hope with any contending team or team trying to contend who acquires John Collins.
Yeah, I like John Collins here in Sacramento as a move. If that's
Mm,
the you traded the 13th pick and in your assets to acquire John Collins or create space so you can get John Collins and then that's it and you try to sign Malik Monk and all this. I don't like it in that respect. I like him as an additional move to if you got Kuzma. Kuzma's the one. Kuzma's the number one pick for me. That the Kuzma deal's number one.
so before play with your wording for a second, again, wording.
Mhm.
Kuzma's the move or a move?
He's the move. He's the move that at the
It-
at the end of the offseason, obviously re-signing Malik Monk too. But
right, right,
like,
right.
yo, you upgraded. You got Kyle Kuzma in here to start at the 4
Mm-hmm,
or the 3, whatever you want to say. And you brought Malik Monk back, and
mm-hmm,
now let's cook. Let's cook. He's the move.
mm-hmm,
If you added John Collins, like after all your assets were done with whatever you have to use to get Kyle Kuzma,
mm-hmm.
and you're able to use the rest of your assets to go get John Collins, cool, that'd be great. That'd be great. But if put that in not in reverse because you wouldn't be getting Kuzma, but like take Kuzma out and put John Collins in there and you
Mm-hmm.
use your primary assets to go get John Collins, I'm not a fan of that one. I'm
Mm.
not a fan. A lot of people think he's a fit. I don't think so. People are talking about like these rim protecting centers and
Mm-hmm.
power forwards and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like this goes back to what I was saying. You can't take away from the offense.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take away from the dynamic ability to be able to shoot at 4 of the 5 starting positions, and knock down the 3 ball and spread the floor for Fox, spread the floor for Sabonis and things of that nature.
What
That's the
would
way I
that
would build this team. You can't take away from that.
what would that number look like then for a player in that position, right? If we're talking about someone in a 4, let's say you want more rebounding, but you've got to be able to have that offense. What's the number of, and this is a super generic way to pose this question and have this conversation, but what's the number of threes per game you want that player to comfortably be able to take?
Probably 5 to 6.
Okay.
5 to 6 threes a night, be able to shoot,
Collins pretty
high
much lives at
30s.
about 3.5.
Yeah, that's not enough for me. for me personally, and for him to be,
but that's
the
what
guy,
but
like, if
that's
he's
what the
part
teams
of,
he was. But that's Utah,
right,
and that's Atlanta,
mhm,
where everyone shot threes.
yeah, for him to be your, big off-season acquisition, I wouldn't want that. If he was part of an off-season where upgraded that roster, sure, absolutely, I would take a chance on him, but
Career 35% last year, 37%. He did have a career high in 2019-20 at 40%.
mm.
From
John Co
three. Just talking
John
about from three.
Collins also, I mean, if that's the move, like, I'm
26 years
probably
old also, by the way.
I'm probably keeping my pick. I'm probably
Mm.
not giving up, like,
Oh,
I'm not giving
I'd
up
give up the
much.
first round pick for
He's
John
not,
Collins.
well, to me, he's not good enough to give up the first round pick.
Mm.
Kyle Kuzma is.
I agree.
So I did, and if I think Kyle Kuzma
I
is
don't know.
better,
I'd be clear though. I don't know. I'd give up anything else. Like
other than the pick,
whatever like
yeah,
salary I have to
mhm,
make work,
mhm.
but I don't know that I give up much else.
Like if I look at Kuzma as being better for this team, better fit, better ball player, John Collins don't get the same trade proposal as Kyle Kuzma for me.
Hmm.
So, but I want to reiterate though, I do like the idea of him being on the team.
We'll have some fun with the Kevin Herter stuff. What if it was a straight swap, Herter and Collins?
That'd be fine.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Are we that out on what Kevin Herter can do offensively?
I'm not, but it seems like the writing's on the wall. It seems like the coach
Well,
may be
that's
out
right. That's the
on him.
right.
I still, if I was the
What
GM
if
or I was a coach, I still have a little more faith in Kevin Herter than maybe others do.
Offensively, I think he can still play well, but I'm more in on Keon Ellis and Malik Monk than like those are the two guys I'm riding with.
what if Malik's gone? Does anyone's opinion change on Kevin Herter if Malik Monk isn't here?
Kevin Herter can stick around, but I don't like the idea that Kevin Herter fills that Malik Monk role because Malik Monk does so much
Oh,
more than
yeah.
that. Like
No,
I've kind of seen that around. Like I don't think Kevin Herter like that. Like you don't keep Kevin Herter around to like fill that role or
no,
whatever.
he can't fill that role, but can you afford to lose him? Because I think an important component to the end of last season that is really commonly ignored is, hey, Malik goes out, Malik goes out, Malik goes out. Kings really struggle. No, Kevin was out too.
Mm-hmm.
And the depth at that position was completely wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Herter can't fill the role that Malik Monk has, but losing everything you had at that position, particularly scoring wise, is brutal.
Yeah.
He can score for you though.
If you lose Monk, doesn't that give Monty more incentive to just be even more aggressive that he is or whatever? Because if you lose Monk and you got Herter around, like that team's not doing anything.
Oh no, I agree. Like
Like you almost your hand is kind of forced. Like you have to do something at that point. Kevin Herter, I think, is kind of involved in that.
okay.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Herter is involved in it if you're talking Kyle Kuzma or Zach LaVine, or you're talking someone who can score or be a playmaker. I mean, they probably go hand in hand at the level in which Malik can.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking to bolster the roster, I don't know that Kevin can be a part of that.
The crazy thing about that proposed Kyle Kuzma deal, I think Matt George talked about, maybe it was going around. Well, there was another
The
one.
locked on one that he
There was a
had.
locked on one, and then there was a Bleacher Report one as well. Where you didn't trade Kevin Herter in those
Mm-hmm.
deals. That would be I would do that. I
Mm-hmm.
would
Mm-hmm.
I would be perfectly fine with trading for Kuzma, using the 13th pick. I would try not to have Davion and Trey Lyles in there. Maybe get Sasha in there for one of the two, or for Trey Lyles or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But try and work that out, and then still be able to keep Harrison Barnes and Kevin Herter to either be on your roster or you still have them as assets moving forward. That would be a fantastic scenario. Fantastic.